It is a layered site. What do I mean by layers? Well, history layers. Geology talks about the stratigraphy of time and the layers of history, ancient geologic history. In this case, it happens culturally. And so when the pioneers first came to this site, they were told by Wakera that they would come to a place in the Parowan Valley. They would go west of there, and they would come out to where the mountain is split. At that point, there would be many petroglyphic inscriptions on the rock. He designated that place as being God's own house. The reason for that becomes very, very clear. And the reason is because at Parowan Gap, there are numerous events at this location which happen uncreate by man. They happened because a mountain was there. A break in the rock, a split in the mountain is there. A split in the rock becomes a face of Tobats. A cave becomes a perfect indicator of the May cross-quarter, August cross-quarter date. A split in the rock or a division in the rock, a narrow split, becomes an indication of the moon's southernmost rise. Again and again and again, those things happen for the moon, for the sun, for Venus, and they happen repeatedly. So the Indians noticed this as the first step in the history of the Gap. They used it as a passage to the West Desert. When the pioneers came, they noticed the petroglyphs. They did not understand them. They weren't astronomers, and they weren't ethnographers. But as time went on, there was always a mystique about the Gap. And one of those mystiques have been revelations about certain appearances here. Others are biblical interpretations of the petroglyphs. And one is always associated with gold. So a legend has been derived. Where it came from and how it happened, I don't know. Somebody had a story about Mexican gold that was discovered and hidden here. And that's very unfortunate for the Gap because things are being destroyed. Something like this little cairn would be taken that maybe there was gold. I hate to even say it, people. There will be somebody that assumes that there is gold under that cairn. And that's tragic. There's nothing but the information that that cairn contains, its place, its location, its significance in time. There is not gold here, and there's no sense to dig a hole here.
From my point of view, we don't live directly with the Earth anymore. We're off planet, we're aliens. We are in fact seeing aliens everywhere, like in the Middle Ages, angels were seen everywhere. And I think that reflects more the condition of our soul, of our psychological state, of being alien from the very place that we come from.
Pull forward.
Just do an audio test, just introduce yourself.
Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Betty bought some butter, but she said it's butter bitter. If I put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of butter, put it in and red batter made her bitter, batter. So did better Betty bought a bit of butter.
All right.
Can you hear? When I first was known as the Parowan polygamous prophet, it was very offensive to people in town because there was no plig in town. And I was the first man in about 75 years to take a plural wife here in town.
We have been able to coincide the deciphering of the tombstones in Williamsburg, Virginia, that leads out here to Parowan Gap. So we really feel and believe that there's also a Freemasonry Knights of Templar vault belonging to the legacy of Sir Francis Bacon, somewhere close to Parowan Gap, that has biblical antiquities and artifacts belonging to the healing ministry of beloved Jesus the Christ.
Was Jesus Christ born and crucified in southwest Utah?
We personally believe that he was born in southwest Utah, but we believe that he was crucified in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where the sacred hill is called Tome, T-O-M-E. We're not New Age thought fringe. We're not a scattered, unorganized group. We are very serious historians, Baconian historical consultants.
Mm-hmm. Rastafari. I say Illuminati run the world, but Illuminati take no part. Come now, let me see you the run down. Illuminati come go now we burn down.
We really feel we have an obligation as Americans and metaphysicians. And that's what we're about, too, bringing it to the people.
I'll tell you a story, probably shouldn't, but nevertheless, it's a good indicator of the kind of stuff that goes on. And so there is a prophetess. Her name is Zuleme, and she is able to divine the place of gold. All right? And she divines it with a divining stick.
And I feel like I'm back in the Garden of Eden. These mountains are all hollow, all of them. Thousands of Indians are living in them, and it's always light. And we're called the children of light. Jesus leads us through the forest of fields, and we follow him.
So she said that the inchworm over there, the reason why it comes down like that and this way and then up, that's where the flight of stairs went down. Then it went under the road and comes back over in the mountain and along through this circular path, and then you take a flight of stairs up inside of that mountain. And that's why we did the dig in the cave.
There's a pistol over there that was owned by Joseph Smith. According to the church records, there were 6 of these that were bought and given to what they call the School of the Prophets. Some of the rifles came from the Mountain Meadow Massacre.
These rifles?
Mm-hmm.
Is this for me to sign?
Uh-huh. He just wanted a record kept of the people that came in. I don't think it was as much for security as it is notoriety. Because they were governors and congressmen.
What about these missiles here on the floor?
A variety. This one here is a 2.75 FFAR. This one here is what they call a Mighty Mike. There's an M35 there. That's a bazooka.
So there's 144 recorded Freemasonry Knights of Templar vaults, some buried just 10 feet down, some 20 feet, some 100 feet down in depth. And once we utilize ground-penetrating radar, copper rod imaging, topographical mapping, and satellite imaging, we then take it to the scientific community.
So here we have the path going to the Red Sea, and here we have the symbol of the water coming in and destroying the enemies. And right below it, we have the Bonian Bush. We see kind of a rabbit man hill. The first rabbi, or rabbi of history, was Moses. We have the gentleman spread out uphill, representing the place that Christ was crucified. And we go right up to the south hill on the ledge, we see a big skull-shaped rock, which the ancients called Golgotha. So this identifies this place as the original Jerusalem of ancient history.
And it fits all the wrong ethnography. But it's right in that the ancient mind always put the creation of the world in his own backyard.